Happy Sunday and welcome here to RIZE Sports Complex as we get set for some Sunday afternoon AAU basketball between RIZE and Caveman, all coming up next right here on JRM Sports Network. Grant Kalich and Jack Ridenauer here with you. Thanks for joining us on your Sunday afternoon. And for RIZE, a big chance here, Grant, to take a big win here on Sunday before the weekend wraps up. And obviously to complete the weekend with a win would be a big momentum booster for this group heading into next weekend.
Yeah, Jack, RIZE, they've done a great job so far this weekend of taking care of business. They've been getting some bigger wins, and now they have a good chance against Caveman to just keep it rolling. Without question,
as Caveman, team that has been well known in the Pittsburgh area, AAU-wise, going up against a really strong RIZE team comprised mostly of Swickley Academy basketball players, as Mamadou Kane takes the opening tip for RIZE. Kane quickly to work, but quickly fouled down low.
Yeah, Kane, that's exactly what you want him to do if you're RIZE. Just keep developing that, driving right to the cup, picking up a foul early on.
Goes on Fusetti, that's his first. Teams get 7 team fouls, and it's a double bonus as Kane with an early flush inside. The players get 6 personal fouls, so a little bit of a wrinkle. Normally 5 is the limit in high school and college, but playing the AAU and I guess NBA rules too.
I just think they don't really want guys fouling out, but you can't have guys going dirty out here and just hitting people hard the whole time, so you have to draw that line somewhere.
In the corner for Dighton. As he drills it, early 5-0 lead for RIZE.
Hot start there for RIZE. They get that dunk with an exclamation point, then three-pointer down the other end.
And a beautiful touch off the window by Kai Cox. Gently kisses it for Caveman's first points. There's Drew Steele. Steele's part of the Swickley Academy high school team that had a great season on the hardwood.
Yeah, they went all the way to the state championship game. Just couldn't get it done in the end, but they'll be looking to come back next season.
Here's Steele's. Good defense by Boyd. It results in a takeaway. Caveman looking to run. Short jumper off by Sleven.
Yeah, and that was a settle shot right there. You don't want to take that if you're Caveman. That's contested. You pull that one out, you get a better look. Here's
Southall, another member of the Swickley Academy team. Coughs it up. Here comes Noah Sear. Works inside, breaks free, and a chance to tie it up at the line.
Much better there. He just goes all the way to the cup, and that's how you're going to get the looks you want.
There you see the opening flush by Kane. RIZE clicking early, but Caveman slowly climbing their way out of this hole. Sear can't complete the three-point play. Here comes Sumare. A nice pullback move.
Just
Boyd secures.
Feeling it a little bit too much after he made that great move. Felt like he had to take the shot.
Cox gives Caveman its first lead of the afternoon. After a quick 5-0 start for RIZE, it's a 7-0 response by Caveman.
And that's how basketball works, especially right here in AAU. It's all about the runs, and both teams having a run early on.
Yeah, definitely a different approach in AAU basketball. Kane too strong. Southall climbs the ladder, and he goes to the free throw line. The foul on Fusetti. That's quickly his second, but most of these teams used to, obviously, high school basketball, a little bit more of sets, half-court, full-court offense and defense, as opposed to AAU, more so free-flowing, kind of spread out, and kind of a five-man rotations type of offense.
Yeah, it's just so much different, and it's harder to buy into the team mentality here in AAU because at the high school level, it's just you have to do your part. More specifically, it's about like, all right, this is what you're going to do as to help the team. But here it's like, all right, we're going to go do this up and down together, and it's not like you have a specific role that you must do, but you have to find that on the floor as the game goes along.
Goes back down for Caveman.
Yeah, 0 for 2 at the foul line. Not what you want to see there from Southall. Or 1 for 2, sorry.
And Southall earned some big minutes on the varsity level this year for Sewickley Academy. Another wrinkle in AAU basketball as well as the shot clock. 35-second shot clock, whereas there is no shot clock in high school basketball. And Grant, I'm sure we'll mention it quite a bit throughout the broadcast. That's a big adjustment for these players to have to make.
Yeah, it's huge because in high school you get to the end of the game, last 4 minutes or so, a 1-point lead is a very significant lead. But here, that's going to be nothing with the shot clock.
You saw there Cox had to rush it with 1 on the shot clock. Sleven fires away and drills it. And after that 5-0 start for Rise, again, it's been a 10-1 run for Caveman. A little bit more than 3 minutes gone in this first half. Kane works on Boyd, barrels his way through, and it's back down for Caveman. Good defense inside for the visitors.
Yeah, that's a great job there against Kane, with Kane having that height advantage on basically all the Caveman players. For them to be able to just knock it out of his hands, that's what they're going to have to do. Make sure he cannot get in position to get off a shot, because then it's going to be trouble for Caveman.
So an interesting approach here, taking up a lot of time, going up against a zone our Caveman. Up for Sleven. He walks right into a triple. The zone buster. And now it's a 13-1 run here for Caveman, and Rise, who again came into today rolling this weekend with some big wins, in jeopardy of losing on Sunday.
Yeah, I really like the approach from Caveman so far, because you see that shot clock, especially on the defense, right? You're kind of done with playing defense. It's like, all right, we're ready to get back on the offensive end, and you kind of speed yourself up a little bit, and then Caveman just goes through the set and finds their shot, and it's been going in.
Well, Kane finally breaks up the scoring drought, and the big fella, the standout sophomore, gets Rise within 5.
Yeah, Kane, I mean, he's just going to be so important basically for every team he plays for, whether it's Sewickley Academy or Rise, and the more he shoots it, the more it's going to go in. Just, it's all about getting him in position to get the shots off.
Cox trying to feed through on this zone. Gets it back. Too strong. Secured by Steels. And a foul 90 feet from the basket. Last thing you want to have if you're Caveman.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, but the bonus seems pretty far away early on here in the first half, but you still, that's just not a fundamental foul. You don't want to be doing stuff like that.
Here comes Steels. Works on Sleven. Kane wants it. Boyd breaks it up. 2-on-2 break. A good idea by Fusetti to pull it back out. Now for Sear. Splash. Caveman doubles up on Rise, 16-8. And a timeout called by Rise. And I think, to say the least here, Grant, a good timeout by Rise.
Yeah, Rise, they had to take the timeout here, and this is the point where you got to adjust. I'm sure, you know, obviously you don't just assume anything's going to happen, but they've been feeling good this weekend. And you show up here on Sunday, you just want to finish that off. But Caveman, they've done a good job of hitting those early triples.
So a 16-8 lead here for Caveman, and a Caveman team that, again, has kind of caught a lot of eyes with their ability to produce some college talent at the next level, and then Rise, that this facility recently built not too long ago, a few years ago. It's a complex that's part of the USA Basketball Foundation, so really trying to build up the basketball scene in the Pittsburgh area, which I think, Grant, is a fantastic thing, especially for a lot of this local talent that I feel kind of under the radar, nobody really talks about.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, the Whitfield really just such a competitive league. I mean, we see that throughout the various state tournaments that go on, that it's like half the bracket is occupied by those Whitfield teams and they move on. So it's not like those spots are unwarranted.
There's Brandon Pickett, recently checked into the ball game. 6 minutes gone in this first half. Kane, a mismatch down low, and he is just a handful for defenses in the post.
Yeah, it's just really tough to guard a guy like Kane, especially with him just starting to move more, making athletic basketball plays as opposed to, just kind of fumbling around in there. And the more that he can move with poise with the ball, I mean, the more he's going to dominate defenses.
He gets the first to go. And I know that he's also been really working on some of that perimeter game, trying to stretch out his ability as a post threat, as Eric Crasian checks in for RIZE. But if he can develop that part of his game, Grant, I mean, I don't see any reason why Mamadou Kane isn't quickly one of the top prospects, if not already in the area.
Yeah, I mean, you need that to be a top prospect at the next level. You need some ability outside, especially, I mean, Kane, he's certainly a tall and athletic guy, but he's not 7'2" or something like that. So he's going to need to be able to do it all to be a top prospect.
Good defense by RIZE, now trying to cash in with some points. Kane muscles his way through, strong move, and RIZE back within 5. Right now, Caveman with 14 fouls, 3 more, and it puts RIZE at the free throw line to shoot a pair. So Caveman needing to be careful defensively.
Seems like they're just trying to mitigate that on the offensive end by getting this time down. They really have just been trying to get one shot on each possession.
And it's off Kai Cox. Maybe too many dribbles, and it goes back down for RIZE. Really good defense in response here for the home team.
RIZE just, I mean, they've been doing a good job of preventing Caveman from getting down into the paint. A lot of their shots have been from the exterior. But that might be the design for Caveman with how they've been looking.
Here's Pickett. Picks his way through, but Boyd swallows it up. And good hands inside by Elijah Majors. Steals, gets it right back. Kane crashes in. Pickett. Majors comes away with it. Speeds down. Soft touch. Boyd on the second try goes through. Great tenacity down low by Cedric Boyd.
Boyd just not giving up on that. He's making sure that while he's fading away, he's still looking at his spot, trying to use that board, making sure he's not just throwing it up there. He's having a good look.
Crasian gets fouled down low. A good feed by Southall as well. As Mark Johnson tagged with his first, and now the team's 5th foul in this first half. Crasian, catch and shoot. Southall chases it down. Kane using his size to keep it alive. Crasian, the blow by. Nice finish inside.
Better job there for Crasian, making sure he established himself and then used his footwork to get to the rim. First time he just really didn't get his feet down to get enough on that shot attempt.
Here's the North Hills product in Kai Cox. RIZE trying to make this a one-possession game. And Southall left wide open. And he does just that to pull RIZE back within 3, trying to recapture their once lead.
That's as easy as it gets. And Caveman, they can't be sloppy on the defensive end just because the game's been going their way as of late. They need to make sure that they continue their run and keep doing well on both ends of the floor.
Cox, post move. Twirls, great post footing, but he just couldn't finish.
Yeah, he got to his spot, but too many hands up there.
Crasian might have heard the footsteps of Boyd. Here comes Majors. Caveman looking for that breathing room once again. They've led by as many as 8 in this first half after trailing by 5. Boyd, double comes. Good block by Southall. Rise with a chance here to tie it up. Southall glides in, and he goes to the line to shoot a pair.
Yeah, good job there. Southall realized that he had the size advantage, and if he was going up, it was either going in or he was earning a trip. So he will take that trip and try to cut it to 1.
So that is the second on Mark Johnson. Him and Marco Fusetti both with 2 fouls for Caveman. Southall misses the first free throw. Well, I think also, Grant, some of these coaches probably have or allow a little bit of a longer leash for certain players because of the extra foul that they get.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much easier, especially with the game not really being divided up into quarters. It's just the 2 halves. It feels like if you have to sit for 2 minutes in the second half, it doesn't feel as significant. So, you just kind of let your players go. You get that extra foul, and it's just more relaxed from that end. You're not like thinking about your players as pieces. You're just thinking about your players as players trying to help you get points on the board.
Foul was on Kane. That's his first and the team's second. 6.5 to go until the break. 3-point lead between these two. Caveman trying to get a win against Rise on their home court. Blundo off. And a unfortunate bounce for Pickett as it stays with Caveman.
Yeah, that went right off his face. It's hard to catch the ball with your face there. Pickett learned that. So now Caveman gets an opportunity to extend their lead.
Cox serves it. Can't finish. And another foul against Caveman. So this turns into some free throws. And this goes on Kai Cox, his second.
Yeah, so the fouls really have been 7 of them, 2 on 3 players for Caveman, and that's the second one that's been all the way down there. And that will result in Kane being the one shooting the 2.
Kane knocks in the first. It was a big part of, like we talked about, Swickley Academy's season that they were cruising along in the WPIAL playoffs and then ultimately were upset by the eventual champion in 2A in the Jeanette Jayhawks.
Yeah.
Kane pulls his team within 1.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of played in 3 blowouts, and they took care of business first round, and then they played a Chartiers Houston team that did really well in their section, but it was questioned all year how good their section really was, and then they played the eventual champions in Jeanette, and Jeanette just kind of out-coached them, out-physicaled them, and not much they could do.
Yeah, it was really a game that I think a lot of people were surprised by simply because the big talking point going into that game with Swickley Academy and Jeanette was the height discrepancy and the height difference, with Jeanette having a lot of players undersized compared to Swickley Academy. And Swickley Academy just could not buy a bucket in that first half.
Yeah, and that's just so hard to mentally come back from at the high school level because it's so easy to get up and down at that point. So whenever you're down that much, you just kind of quit, and that's something that you can't do if you're going to be a good team.
Elijah Majors with a nice shimmy shake. Steals, tucks. Good defense by Cox. It does stay with Rise.
But then you give credit to Swickley as they came back and made their run in the state tournament. They didn't go away. They didn't let it ruin their season.
There's Nolan Reed. Kane all the way to the rack. Just could not cap it off. Pickett with patience glides in and blocked. Fusetti challenges with 2 fouls.
That play there from Kane, I mean, that's just scary. If he can do that and then he can find a way to finish, look out, everyone.
Well, unfortunately, to pour salt in the wound there, that is Kane's third, team's fourth, and Southall has to come in for Kane.
Yeah, so now you miss out on Kane for probably the last 5:06 here. If you're RIZE, and you know he's been the clear standout for them so far in this game, and trying to come back, that's going to be difficult.
Cox rocks and finishes. Great patient move inside by the North Hills standout. Gives a 5-point lead to Caveman. Steals. Steals, unloads, and drills it. Big time shot to pull RIZE within striking distance. A big stop here, and RIZE can recapture their once lead.
Yeah, they're going to need those shots with Kane off the floor to fall, and good job Steals just finding his spot, making his shot.
Cox, what a move, just can't finish. Stays with it. Sear, money.
Good ball movement all around. Caveman get that second chance, and they turn it into a killer for RIZE.
Steals. Can't answer back. Loose ball. And it stays with RIZE. Great hustle by Jameer Guyton as Braden Pickett checks in for RIZE and Kyler Sleven checks in for Caveman. We take a look back at this big three by Steals.
Yeah, big shot because he doesn't hit that, and it's starting to creep back towards that 8-point mark. And you're thinking, if you're RIZE, you might have to put Kane back in, and then you might lose him down the stretch in the second half if he picks up foul number 4. So that shot really pivotal in this game so far.
Pickett resets, rejects the screen, all the way to the tin for 2.
Yeah, that's just a great move, getting up there, getting that finish, and Pickett just blowing by the defense.
Cox going all the way. Working for Sear.
Wow, what a pass there. Just had the perfect amount of air under it. Get it out there in time, get it over the defender, and then dropping it from 3.
Reed too strong. Southall skies in. But they're a huge 3, like you said, Grant, to kind of keep that wiggle room up for Caveman. Pickett pierces through. Tough 2. Sumare sticks it back. 4-point separation, but it's now a matter of if RIZE can get a stop. Cox. Good defense by Pickett, but he does get tagged. No, he does not. That is on Nolan Reed. So it's Reed's first and the team's 5th.
And now 2 shots here for Cox, and RIZE are starting to pick it up on the offensive end, but comebacks start and end on defense. So they're going to need to pick up the intensity down over here.
Yeah, it's been a lot of trading baskets in the last 2-3 minutes. Cox good on the second. Keep that breathing room up for Caveman. RIZE trying to cap off the weekend with a big win here against Caveman. Sumare takes the scenic route. He goes to the free throw line as the foul starting to rack up for both teams. Sleven gets hit with his first.
Yeah, it's been a really physical game underneath the basket, and there you see a guy, he gets to his spot but doesn't have the finish, but ultimately comes away with the pair.
Knocks in the first. Trying to keep his team within some sort of range of this deficit. And it was a 5-0 start for RIZE, but since then, Caveman has been able to climb their way back, take as big as an 8-point lead in this first half. Sleven inside for Boyd. And it stays with Caveman as it was tipped off of RIZE. Coach White for RIZE not happy with the call, and as they say, ball doesn't lie.
Yep. Now you go down. And
Pickett could not reestablish positioning inbounds, so another lost opportunity for RIZE.
yeah, and you can't do that. You get momentum down the court, trying to get this back to even at halftime, and you just kind of lose control of yourself.
Ty Cox at the controls, one of the top scorers for North Hills this season. What a move inside. Gives it off for Fusetti, and it's blocked. Here comes Sumare. Pickett. What a finish. And it's a one-possession game with a minute and a half to go until the half.
And there you go. You get down through the end, and you get your bucket.
Good chase down by Cedric Boyd. Out for Sleven, and a huge triple. He's hit a couple of them in this half. Again, keeping that distance from RIZE.
Yeah, that's just a clutch shot there by Sleven. Really, especially with the time that's left, that pretty much ensures a halftime lead for Caveman.
This is on Southall. That is his first. Team sixth, so no free throws quite yet. And you can see there Southall getting a little handsy. I want to correct myself. Kai Cox, not from North Hills, from Newcastle. Cox catching a lot of eyes, especially on the football field. Actually led all WPIAL freshmen in scoring this past season, but couldn't drop in two there. 41 seconds until the half. RIZE can make this a one-possession game going into the break. Here's Steele.'s played some big basketball throughout his career. Finds Pickett, and he drains it. Massive trifecta to make it a 2-point difference.
Great movement there, and Pickett able to finish it off with the shot. And here, with the shot clock being off, it becomes an obvious spot to slow down and just take one for Caveman.
8 to go, and it's through the hands of Guyton, so it stays with Caveman, but good defense either way, and now 7.6 till the break. Sear, 5. Back for RIZE, and a chance here maybe to tie or take a lead before the break.
Yeah, Caveman, they mismanaged that at the end. They tried to take a shot too early, and then they were given a second chance and couldn't grasp the ball, so here comes RIZE.
Steele's in trouble. And either way, we go to the break. A 2-point game, 33-31. Caveman in front as RIZE trying to cap off the weekend with a win right here on JRM Sports Network. Back here inside of RIZE Sports Complex as we get set for second half action here on JRM Sports Network. 33-31, Caveman leads over RIZE. Grant Kalich, Jack Ridenauer back here with you. And Grant, we saw a pretty nip and tuck first half. You give credit to Caveman kind of keeping this lead, but RIZE definitely with, I think, a little bit more momentum on their side coming into this one.
Yeah, I think the first half was a good job by both teams kind of feeling each other out. A lot of runs, a lot of streaks, but we've got 16 minutes here, and the only difference is that Caveman has one extra bucket.
Here we go. Caveman trying to keep RIZE out of the win column this Sunday. Cox with good patience. Too much, and Boyd on the follow. Goes to the free throw line. An early foul here against RIZE. That is on Southall. That is his second.
RIZE just kind of holding their breath there, hoping it's not the fourth against Kane, because you never know who that foul's going to really be on underneath the basket.
Boyd knocks in the first. Caveman trailed by 5 in the first few minutes of the game, but then you were able to answer on a 16-3 run after that to take an 8-point lead. A split trip there by Boyd, and a chance here for RIZE to maybe tie it, but Kane misses the bunny, but second try is true for the big fella as he enters into double figures with 11.
The first time Kane was just too sped up as RIZE was trying to work the ball around to him, and the second time he was able to go up with a better poise and finish it off.
Out for Sear. He finds the bottom of the basket again. He has been automatic from distance in this one.
Sear just been finding his spot, and every time that he seems to get a clean shot off, it finds that net. So if he's able to keep getting those looks, it's going to be a long second half for RIZE.
It's his fourth made 3 this afternoon.
Good. Be on the help. You said he'd be on the help. Good switch back, Slab. Good switch set.
Steals. Here's Kane. Leads RIZE this afternoon with 11 points and a fortuitous bounce as it goes off a Sear.
Kane just with a dribble that was too strong. And that's the thing that he's got to develop about his game is he does a good job of moving, but he's got to move with the basketball. He cannot just move without it.
Southall and a shot clock violation, the first one of the game. Right now, everything kind of going against RIZE despite having some of that momentum from halftime.
And I feel like that's gone at this point. They've got to re-spark that here in the second half. And it's going to start with a stop on this possession.
Here comes Cox. Caught a lot of eyes this season, especially on the hardwood, but also on the football field, ironically enough, as Sear cannot miss. Oh, the left-handed assassin. That's his fifth made 3, and it's a 7-point lead for Caveman.
Yeah, and it's time to start cheating towards Sear because one more of those, and it's a 10-point game, so you've got to stop Sear if you're RIZE.
A much-needed floater by Guyton. He's up to 5 now. Now it's a matter, we mentioned it in the first half, Grant, RIZE getting stops and consecutive stops as well.
Yeah, RIZE, they need to get stops when they score. It seems like it's been score, or stop. So RIZE, when they're in the position they are where they have to come back, they're going to need both stops and scores, not one or the other.
A nice, beautiful floater there by Guyton. The foul goes on Kane. That is his 4th. Now a little conversation with who this foul might be on. Initially it was ruled on Kane.
Well, they already shot the free throw, so I don't think they should be able to go back and change it.
So they keep it at 20.
Yeah, you got to stick with your call at this point after you already shot one, and, you know, not happy with it is RIZE, but it is what it is at this point.
And Coach Sharman White not happy with the call, but Rize's leader in points today, now playing with 4. Again, the limit in AAU is 6, so he does have a little extra wiggle room, but running out of that room right now.
And now, if you're Caveman, next possession down, I would just attack him. Doesn't matter what you get. If you get that 5th foul, that's huge.
Sumare slashes in, and he draws a foul. This comes on Slevin. That's his second, and the team's first in the second half. Rize looking for a big win this Sunday afternoon to wrap up the weekend. Be a big win, too, against the Caveman team that went undefeated last weekend in the Hoop Group Showcase League. As Southall with a hard fall. And he quickly gets up. And the foul is on Kai Cox, but a good sign that everybody seems to be all right.
Yeah, that was a huge collision. Last thing you want to see in one of these AAU games is someone going down with a significant injury. So we get to have everyone stand up and keep on playing.
So that is Cox's 3rd foul. That'll be something to monitor with Cox having 9 points. A takeaway by Caveman as Fusetti pumps the brakes. Sear dishes. Boyd, no. And Kane draws the foul.
And he was lucky that they had already called a foul going down, because after he grabbed that ball, it looked like he kind of extended, leading to a Caveman player to hit the deck. So he will avoid that 5th foul for the moment.
Yeah, that could be something to monitor, especially, like mentioned, Kane being that main offensive threat here this afternoon. Last foul did go on Cedric Boyd, though. That's his first, as Sumare trying to draw a second one on him. So it's Kane that gets the follow, the bucket, and a chance at 3 at the line. And there, Sear, his first. And foul, if you're going to commit it, you want to take the ball with you as well.
Yeah, and that was just a great job by Kane of knowing exactly where his defender was. He timed his shot exactly with the contact so that he would make sure he got the bucket and the shot.
Yeah, you can see here on the rebound, Kane just getting better positioning. Completes the 3-point play, and it's a 3-point game. But again, Rize has been within this area, and they have just not been able to get over the hump, and give credit to Caveman keeping that separation.
Caveman now, they're going back to that slow offense that worked for them when they employed it in the first half.
Cox steals with the rebound, and again, Rize, chance to tie it. Kane all the way. Can't finish. He's a little slow to get up. Taken away by Sumare, hangs in the air and drops it in. It's a 1-point game. And Kane walking back gingerly, but seems to be all right.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we have a huge possession here for Caveman. It feels like when you keep such a narrow lead throughout the game, once you give it up, sometimes it's just it. You get run out the door, especially you come on the road and play a Rize team like this. So let's see if Caveman get a huge bucket and keep their lead.
Last time Rize led, it was 5-4 in the opening minutes of the first half. Since then, Caveman has led the entirety of this one. Fusetti with a fast fire. And Sumare has it, a chance here to give Rize a lead. Guyton hangs and hits.
And there it is, Rize breaks through, take that lead. So let's see how Caveman responds. They're going to start with the timeout.
And what a fight here by the home team. Down by as many as 8. And a beautiful finish inside by Sumare. And then here the lead by Jameer Guyton. And it's been, again, somewhat of a stagnant offensive afternoon for Rize, especially on the defensive side as well. But you give credit to this group here, Grant, because they have been able to pull themselves out of, albeit not the biggest hole, the biggest deficit was 8, but still in a game like this and how fast-paced it can be, that can quickly spiral from 8 to maybe even 12 points.
Yeah, especially with how long they were down, right? They've done a good job of just staying in the game. You know, they've just kept their head level, made sure that everything they do is just making shots, playing defense, and they haven't gotten down, that they haven't been able to break through, and then you keep that mindset up for a long enough time, and here they are finally with the 1-point advantage.
Yeah, not to mention they've also been having to deal with Mamadou Kane's foul trouble, playing with 4 fouls. Other than that, Rob Southall, the other one for RIZE that's in some foul trouble with 2. But for Caveman, they're in a little bit of a more dicey situation. Noah Sear has 1 foul. He's leading the way with points this afternoon, but Kai Cox has 3, Mark Johnson has 2, Kyler Sleven has 2, and Marco Fusetti has 2. Now it's Caveman that is in a deficit for the first time since the opening minutes of the first half. Trying to recapture that once lead. Instead, they're taking a little bit of time here off the clock.
Yeah, and this is something that you see because of the shot clock. They're able to continue their slow approach despite being down, and it's not going to work out for them.
Good defense leads to Gracian finishing in transition.
And here it is, RIZE just starting to put down the pedal. Let's see if what I said is going to come true, or if Caveman can respond. It's so tough once you give up that lead for the first time.
Cox. Way off. Kane airmails, and Cox playing like a defensive back takes it away, and a travel. Majors could not establish footing. Sear checks back in for Caveman, and that is something to watch with Sear having 5 threes this afternoon. He's got 17 of the points. So you see Gracian's layup in transition.
Yeah, now you'd assume that Sear is back into the game here for good, because they're going to need him on the offensive end to make some clutch shots, because RIZE, they're making their run, and let's see how long it'll last.
Kane, flush. Back to a 5-point advantage, and RIZE quickly feeling the tides turning their way. Can Kai Cox help his team out of this slump that they're in offensively? Right there, that can help them out. Sleven in the corner. And Sleven pulls Caveman within 2.
Yeah, that shot had to go for Sleven. Great job there of finding him in the corner, and now they have a chance to make a comeback.
Majors gets hit with this foul. And that will be the 4th on Caveman. Kane makes it too easy down low. A couple free throws here for Kane. He's 3 for 4 from the line this afternoon.
Yeah, that's something that you just absolutely love to see, as he does miss there. But for a player of his size, if he's able to make these foul shots, I mean, he's just going to be dominant across this game of basketball.
A chance here to continue to give his team a little bit of breathing room. Pickett checks in to take out Guyton. A 3-point lead for RIZE. RIZE trying to wrap up this weekend with a big win against a strong Caveman team. Say more zone here by RIZE as well. Boyd. Boyd barrels his way through. Major secures, flips it up and in. 1-point lead. Gracian, what a find, and Pickett goes down in a heap. What a pass by Gracian in stride, and Cox almost gives Caveman the lead. And Cox was out of bounds and then back in, and he did not establish positioning, and he does not agree with it, but somewhat of a chaotic sequence there for both teams. I'm still caught up, Grant, on the fact that Kracian made such a kind of a dangerous pass like that under the basket, underhanded, and it was in stride, too. I'm still impressed by that.
Yeah, I mean, he needed every inch of the ceiling to get that one all the way down there, and Pickett just a little bit surprised with it, unable to handle it.
Kane with another two-hand flush again.
And that's what RIZE has been doing here during their resurgence, just letting Kane dominate. But going back to that pass, just Pickett couldn't finish because it was just such a surprising thing for everyone involved.
Caveman trying to tie it up here. Good hands by Kracian. Pickett punctures through. He's fouled by Majors. That is his second. Not to mention the team's fifth in the second half.
RIZE just continuing now. It seems like we're playing even again, but RIZE has basically just gained 5 points here, as now they're out in front. So ever since Caveman gave up that lead, they're yet to take it back. It's just so tough whenever you have that lead that you're nursing for so long and then you give it up. It's just, sometimes you can't recover from that, even if it's just a small deficit.
It can be very deflating for sure. It can also obviously exert a lot of energy having to play that comeback feel, especially if you haven't really been in that position for most of the game. Pickett misses the first free throw. Sumare checks back in to take out Chris Tull. Getting down to crunch time. Halfway gone just about in this second half. Point separation. Cox. Sear. Cannot miss. His sixth made three of the afternoon. And Caveman within one.
Sear has just been really saving Caveman time and time again. 2 big shots in this time that they've been down. And if he keeps getting looks, he's going to keep making shots.
Gets his hand on a pass, and Caveman can take a lead. Blundo misses. Boyd and Caveman back in front by 1.
Yeah, they were lucky to get that second chance because Sear, he should have came to the other side for the help passing, but he went out for the three-pointer. He wanted it all, but they were still able to get the bucket out of it.
Pickett pulls. And he's fouled by Sear. That's Sear's second. And the team's sixth. So 2 really big free throws here by Pickett, who again just split a pair on his last trip. Much needed one to tie it up. Now a chance to give RIZE the lead right back. As Southall comes back in to take out Kracian, who gave really good minutes for RIZE. RIZE back in front by 1. 7 minutes to go. The Sunday AAU afternoon showdown. Caveman trying to keep RIZE out of the win column. Cox too much. Boyd springboards. Sear has it. Majors. Good hands by Sumare. Takes it all the way. Boyd gets a piece, and Cox secures. Up for Majors. And Caveman goes back ahead by 1.
Yeah, Caveman taking great advantage there. Rise not getting a good shot on the offensive end, just kind of rushed it there.
Steals. Boyd has it as this game continues to seesaw back and forth, winding down to 6 minutes left in this second half. Cox, he's been quiet in the second half. Cox drives, sheds off Pickett. Southall has it.
Yeah, Cox just didn't have the space there to get that one to go. Just kind of threw it up and was hoping it went in, but that's normally not a good strategy.
Southall has a mismatch, and Majors takes it away. As they say, low man always wins. And he wins there. Sear, wide open. And a rare miss.
Yeah, I just assumed that one was going to find its way home, but yeah, here's a timeout for Coach White, and I absolutely love this timeout because it feels like Rise hasn't gotten anything good on offense last couple of possessions down. Huge spot in this game with 5:27 left, so.
Rise down to its final timeout while Caveman still has 2 left. You get 3 45-second timeouts in AAU basketball. But now the approach, I think, for Caveman, trying to keep this lead, but for Rise, Grant, I know that they've been in this position all day long. Feels like maybe there's no signs of panic because they've had to come back a couple times today.
Yeah, they don't seem to be too worried about it at all, but the thing is, as you get down this stretch here, it's important that you have that lead. Not as important as it would be in a high school game without the shot clock, but still very important down the stretch that they're able to keep their composure and find a way to get that lead back and keep it for the rest of the way.
And Rise could also benefit from maybe drawing some fouls here against Caveman. Caveman has 17 fouls compared to Rise with just 2. So next foul puts Rise at the free throw line.
Yeah, that gives Rise such a big advantage. All they really have to do is just take a drive to the cup, and whether they can get a shot up or not, they're likely to get 2 shots.
Here we go. Rise down by 1. Trying to make a huge win here this Sunday. Kane carves out space. Second try, no. Boyd with tenacious defense. And 2 cracks at it for Kane. Couldn't get either. And Sumare picks up his second foul.
Yeah, that's exactly the look you want if you're Rise. Kane right under the basket. And despite them not being able to come away with the lead, that's what you got to live with that, because that's what you want.
Now it's Caveman that's controlling this advantage. Sear. Cox. 10 on the shot clock, inside of 5 to play. Pulls. Steals has it. Chance to put his team back in front. Pickett for the lead. Money!
What a great job there, Pickett. He stopped right at that three-point line and just feeling it and dropping that shot.
(55-53). We continue to sway back and forth in this Sunday afternoon AAU matchup. Sear in a straitjacket, kicks it. Blundo, loose ball. Cox has it. Shuffles off for Boyd. Guyton hits the deck, and Kane caps the play off. Rise now playing with the lead. Guyton all the way. Bucket and a foul and a chance at 3 for 10 in Navy Blue.
And that all started with the perfect defensive positioning there for Rise They knew exactly which side Sears was on. They hedged towards that side, and then they were able to turn the defense into offense. Get the bucket plus the foul.
And that's a big foul. It's the third on Sear, who again has 17 points this afternoon to lead all scorers in the game. Guyton caps the three-point play to again give RIZE its biggest lead of the afternoon. Haven't led by this much since the opening minute in the first half. Coach Ralph Blundo calls a timeout. Coach Blundo, he's been in a lot of big games before, head coach at Newcastle, so has guided that program to some incredible success and knows how to win these really tight ball games. But RIZE right now, Grant, they've got the driver's seat. I don't think they're going to give up the wheel.
Yeah, it's certainly what they're going to try to do. You get a stop here, you start really working that shot clock all the way down if you're RIZE, but you've got to keep in mind where Sears is at all times, making sure that he doesn't get these shots up because he has been deadly from three. So RIZE are just going to have to keep working on defense and be smart on offense.
Yeah, last thing right now, if you're really either team, is to commit any fouls, especially if you're Caveman. Both teams down to their final timeout. Grant Kalich and Jack Bride now are here with you. Thanks for joining us on your Sunday. Some good Sunday afternoon hoops. Caveman ball. Kai Cox, who, funny enough, has received an offer from Akron to play football, having not even played football his freshman year.
Yeah, and that's how you know he's probably pretty good at football. As you know, he's just gonna keep looking to earn that offer and go out there and dominate. But right now, he's looking to get into it on the basketball court.
Slevin, tough two. And a wise move by Boyd. Keep it with Caveman. This feels like a massive possession here, especially for Caveman.
Yeah, Caveman really in need of a shot just to keep the pressure on RIZE, because the smaller the difference is, the faster RIZE will move on offense.
Sear, oh my! Unconscious. 2-point game.
Yeah,
he's got 6 threes.
You give Sears an inch there, he is going to take a mile. And in this case, he's taken 3. And Caveman trying to seep back in and take that momentum.
A huge 3 by Noah Sear to keep Caveman in this one. Here's Pickett. Guyton in for Kane. Quickly closed off. Pickett. No. Sear has it. Caveman can tie or take a lead inside of 3 to go here in the second half.
Right here, you slow down. You need to get a good shot on this possession. Can't be anything forced or rushed.
Cox. Offline. Pulled down by Kane. Up for Guyton. He can't finish. Scramble for the loose ball. Pickett has it and an easy 2. The chaos goes over for RIZE.
Yeah, that was just RIZE taking advantage of really everyone being everywhere, and Caveman couldn't have anyone underneath the bucket there.
Cox works on Pickett. A foul that goes against Pickett.
That one's okay for RIZE. It stops the momentum going towards the basket.
Boyd gets freed up.
Yeah, and you notice about 2 or 3 guys from RIZE going towards Sear in the corner. So that just shows what he's been able to do has really opened up the inside for Caveman, and now it's a 2-point game.
Both teams their final timeout as Kane whacked that down low. It does stay with RIZE. Minute 40 to go in the second half. A 2-point lead for RIZE. Steele needs to get it in. RIZE trying to cling on to this one. Finish the weekend off with a win. Kane wants it. Doesn't get it. 5 on the ticker. Steals. RIZE has to hurry. Too strong. Guyton with a rebound, and he's fouled. That is on Slevin. That is his third, and to pour salt in the wound there, 2 free throws here for RIZE.
Yeah, Cape Man, just a great defensive possession there, forcing a fadeaway 3 at the shot clock horn, and now with the bonus being in play, RIZE is going to get a chance at an uncontested 2 shots. Trying to make it a 2-possession game.
Drops in the first. Guyton had a big stretch earlier in this second half. He actually helped give RIZE the lead the first time around. This is the second. So door still left open, a crack here for Caveman. Down by 3 with 75 seconds to go.
Right here, if you're Caveman, you're looking to just get a 2-pointer on the side of the floor that Sears is on.
Cox, oh, goodness me. Through the tightest of spaces, and with a minute to play, it's a 1-point lead for RIZE.
Cox just doing it himself, not even using his teammates' presence. Just going all the way to the cup, cutting it to 1.
Caveman does not want to commit any fouls. 43 seconds to play. RIZE trying to hold on for a win. Steals. Kane. Foul there with 11 seconds on the shot clock, and it comes against Sear. That is his 4th.
Yeah, that's a good foul there, just holding his arms down, making sure that Kane has no chance of getting an and 1, which could push it up. So now let's see if Kane can knock down a clutch pair.
Oh, this is the first. So now this free throw becomes paramount. Misses the second. Back tapped. Boyd secures. 34 seconds to go. About a 2-second difference between game and shot clock.
Good job of getting the contested rebound, and now it's all about getting a good look for Caveman.
Caveman can take a lead late. They could drain this as far down as they'd like. Cox for the lead. And a foul against Caveman.
And Cox, he settled there. It was not a good look. He had an opportunity to kick it out. Trying to do something again.
The foul goes on Fusetti. That's his 3rd. And with Caveman already at the limit, a pair of free throws come here for Guyton. Now, Caveman does have one more timeout.
Yeah, right here, if you're Caveman, you want to make sure that you get the ball down the floor before you call this timeout. Otherwise, you're going to be too rushed, and RIZE is going to be able to put on a good press.
First one good by Guyton, a big one there. Trying to make this a 3-point lead with 15 ticks remaining.
Got to box out Kane.
Good on the second, and a timeout by RIZE. Huge free throw there for RIZE.
Yeah, you notice how RIZE called the timeout there. So now, if you're Caveman, all you talk about in this huddle is how to get the ball across half court, because you know RIZE is going to put on some kind of pressure. You just want to work it across half court, then you call your own timeout, and then you draw up your play to get a 3-pointer.
Yeah, this is a big possession here for Caveman. I'm sure Noah Sear will be involved, but Grant, if you're head coach Blundo, do you use Sear or do you use him as a decoy?
Well, right now, all you do is you put your 5 best ball handlers on the court. You don't worry about that part yet. All you want to do is you want to focus on what's going on right now. And right now you're trying to get it across half court, and you're trying to make sure that you can get your timeout to get up your set for Sear. I think that you do have to go to Sear, and maybe you put Sear in that back corner, try to hide him in case you can get a long pass to him on the second pass. First pass you get it in, couple dribbles, get it up the court to him. But I think you just want to handle the ball here if you're Caveman.
Well, a big final 15 seconds here, the RIZE Sports Complex. 63-60. It's been a fun one here today on JRM Sports Network. RIZE also has no timeouts. Caveman has 1 left. It's Fusetti to inbounds. Interesting. 3 players on the baseline for Caveman. And the foul goes on steals, as Caveman does have a few to give.
Yeah, so you use that foul to give, especially you see Caveman had something drawn up along the baseline. So you want to make sure that they get out of that, or you just get a look at it.
Hawks having to be very careful, dancing a tightrope, 5 seconds to play. And steals again with another foul. That is foul number 6 now for RIZE. So they're at their max before putting Caveman at the line.
Yeah, so right here, there's the timeout.
So both teams out of timeouts. So Ralph Blundo now trying to draw up something here to keep this ball game going and tie it up at 63.
Yeah, so now if you're Caveman, you have to assume that RIZE is going to foul with such little time, and the 2 shots isn't going to cut it with the 3-point deficit. So you got to draw up this play as if you only got 1 second left. You want to make sure that you get a shot right off of this inbound. Don't even give RIZE a chance to foul you and eliminate your chance at a 3-pointer. And then you get that shot up quickly, you still get a chance at a rebound and a kick out for a second shot.
Yeah, 5 seconds, definitely a lot of time that you can do a lot of different things. And with Ralph Blundo and the success he's had at the high school level, he's coached in these moments before, and Sharman White for RIZE trying to get his group with a big win to cap off the weekend. If I'm not mistaken, it would be a clean sweep for RIZE this weekend.
Yes.
In their 4th game. So 5.3 to go. Fusetti to inbound as Caveman looking to tie this ball game up. Here we go. Cox has it. 3. Let go, and that's it. Slevin couldn't get it off. Kane using that incredible height, and RIZE escapes out of this one 63-60 to complete the weekend undefeated.
Yeah, good job there by RIZE, executing defensively down the stretch, going straight up and down, making sure no fouls and no chance for Caveman to tie it at 63.
Great ball game and a back-and-forth one with RIZE emerging victorious 63-60. Want to give a big shout-out to our whole crew here today at JRM Sports Network. For Grant Kalich, this is Jack Ridenauer signing off. Not saying goodbye, just a see you later, right here on JRM Sports Network.